You think you're behind financially, but the data tells a different story. Because most people can't even handle a $1,000 emergency without debt.
It is so easy to feel like you're falling behind with your money, especially when it feels like there's all this pressure to keep up. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to look at the real, quiet signs that you're actually doing great financially, even when it really doesn't feel like it. I mean, you know the feeling, right? You're just scrolling through your feed, and it seems like literally everyone you know is on some amazing vacation or buying a new house or a fancy car. It's a highlight reel, and honestly, it feels like it's designed to make you feel like you're losing. But what if I told you that for most people, the reality is completely different?
All right, check this number out. This one number kind of cuts right through all that social media noise. 59%.
Yeah, that's the percentage of Americans who'd have to whip out a credit card or borrow money to cover a single $1,000 surprise. So if you have ever felt that little twinge of financial anxiety, well, you are far from alone. This is the big disconnect we're talking about, that huge gap between the online illusion and what's actually happening in real life.
Okay, so how do you actually start winning at this game? Well, the first and probably most underrated sign is simply having a financial safety net. And look, this isn't about getting rich. It's about being able to handle life's curveballs without spiraling into a total panic. This right here, this is your foundation.
So what is an emergency fund really? At its core, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a pile of money you've tucked away for when something unexpected happens. Your car breaks down, the boiler gives out, you name it. And if your first thought in that situation isn't, oh man, which credit card isn't maxed out, you're already way ahead of the game. You've probably heard the standard advice, right? Save 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. And hey, that's a fantastic start. But as you can see, the real goal, the one that buys you genuine peace of mind and helps you sleep at night, is aiming even higher, for like 9 months or more. That is the real game changer.
And this quote, man, it just perfectly captures the real purpose of that cushion. You're buying time. Time to find the right job if you lose yours, not just the first one that comes along. Time to make calm, smart decisions instead of desperate ones. Trust me, that buffer is worth so much more than any interest it could ever earn in a bank.
All right, let's switch gears a bit and talk about the next big metric, because this builds on the last point. A safety net is one thing, but you also got to make sure you're not being pulled under by debt. The goal here is pretty simple. You want to be in control of your debt, not the other way around.
And this is the thing about debt, right? For most people, it's not from one huge, terrible purchase. It's more like death by 1,000 cuts. It's $100 here, 50 there. It just sneaks up on you. Until one day you look at your bank account after payday and you're just like, where did all my money go? It's that feeling of being nibbled to death by all these small payments.
So how do you actually measure if you're in control? Well, lenders use this really simple but super powerful tool called the debt-to-income ratio, or DTI. It's basically just a quick snapshot of your financial health. It shows you exactly how much of your money is already spoken for before you even think about groceries or gas.
And figuring it out is actually super simple. You just add up all your monthly debt payments. So that's your mortgage or rent, your car loans, student loans, minimum credit card payments, all of it. And you divide that number by your gross monthly income. That's your income before taxes. The number you get, that's your DTI. Okay, so what's the magic number? It's this, right here. If your DTI ratio is 36% or less, you are officially in what lenders consider the financially fit club. It means you've got a healthy amount of breathing room in your budget, and you're not playing bill roulette every single month. Bottom line, you're in control.
Okay, so we've covered the emergency fund, we've covered the DTI ratio, but what's the real point of all this? I promise you it's not just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about how having this buffer completely changes your entire state of mind.
And honestly, this slide shows you the two completely different worlds you can live in. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're constantly in reactive mode. Putting out fires, making decisions based on stress and anxiety. But when you have that buffer, that little bit of space between your bank account and zero, you can actually shift to being proactive. The stress just melts away, and you can start making smart, strategic choices for your future.
I mean, this is the real payoff. This is what all that hard work actually gets you. It's less stress, which of course means better sleep. It cuts down on one of the biggest things couples fight about, and most importantly, it gives you the freedom to build the life you actually want, not just the one you're forced into. And you know what? That brings us to a totally different way of thinking about wealth. It's not about being a millionaire or having a fancy car. It's this feeling, right here. It's the security of knowing that if something went wrong, you and your family would be okay. That feeling, that peace of mind, that's the ultimate prize.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Let's bring it all home. The absolute key to all of this is to just stop looking at what everyone else is doing and to start focusing on your own progress. It really is all about running your own race.
You've heard it before, but it's so true. Comparison is the thief of joy. Seriously. You got to remember that social media is just an edited highlight reel of someone's life, and comparing your real, messy, behind-the-scenes life to that curated perfection, well, that's a game you can never ever win. You could be in a great financial spot, but you'll never feel that way if you're measuring yourself against a fantasy.
Look, at the end of the day, the goal isn't to beat some random person on the internet. It's to build a life that feels good and is sustainable for you. So the real question you've got to ask yourself is this: what does winning with money actually look like for you? Once you can answer that, you can start building it.
So the real question isn't are you rich, it's are you more stable than average? Subscribe if you want real financial clarity, not social media illusions.